Alright guys, hello and welcome to another episode of HRL History, and I'm gonna have to remove that text from the last stream. That's actually really funny that that's still up. I guess that was the last time I streamed. Okay, so just to get this off the bat, like, I'm sorry that we're delaying the Barvo one again. I'll try to get the Barvo one as soon as I can. The reason why I'm not doing that one this week now is because of some other stuff that like some other changes that we're going through and some potentially pretty cool stuff for HRL, and I'm gonna talk about all that stuff at the end of this one, so stick around for that if you want to hear about all that. But before that, we're gonna do another HRL history episode, and surprise, we're gonna have another Halo 5 one, and it's gonna be our second season 3 one, and this is also gonna be a little bit of a preview kind of. So the way this ties in is this is on Eagle River, which is a go-kart track, and potential go-kart series. I've been talking about it for a while, potentially starting up soon here, and also I'll do some when I get a chance to do another big episode. I want to do the next like big HRL history on go-kart, so that's why I'm doing this here, because Eagle River is like just the best place to start, and this season 3 race was a really cheesy one for Eagle River, but I don't want to delay too much, so let's just get into it. Race Eagle River Moto 1 on row 1 we have Slaunch and Cookie. On row 2 we have Detail and Rebel. On row 3 we have Luke and Stain Blades. And Blades. I think he was in the Magna Tempest video. So yeah, Blades raced a lot like season 3 and 4, and then unfortunately he wasn't really able to get back to it after that, which is unfortunate because he was a pretty big driver. In those seasons he was like super competitive and always on the verge of like being in that top spot. Definitely always a contender for wins though. Every week he'd always be like in that conversation for wins. Everybody knew that he was kind of like pretty high up in the potential there for getting those dubs. So let's move on. And then on row 4 we have Cat and Opix. I'm not sure if Cat's been in too many of the. I don't think he was in Magna Tempest. This might be his first HRL history episode. But yeah, Cat typically Supercross racer. But did participate, like, similar to Blades a lot in Season 3 and 4, racing all these different types of tracks. Row 5, we've got Decoy and Hunter. Decoy FLR
and row
owner.
6,
I think I mentioned that before.
NSA and Vulcan.
I don't know why that's. I don't know what's going on there, but NSA, a driver from. I think he had his own league on Halo Reach, I believe, for a while. Something like that. Helped run it with Juns, something like that. Raced a little bit here in Season 3 and 4.
Row 7. HTX Gamer and
yeah, HT. Did I mention it? Was he in Magna Tempest? I don't recall now, so I'll go through it again. HT. I played a lot of game battles with him on Black Ops 3, so he's my teammate there, and he ended up racing quite a bit with us actually for Season 3 and 4. So unfortunately, I think cheesed after that, but it was definitely fun to have him participate in those first few seasons. DJ, my brother, of course.
DJ.
I forgot he was in this race.
And row 8, we have Flame Vortex, a new driver, and Commando Pack.
Flame, new driver. Huh. I guess he just didn't participate in an HRL race. I think Flame's in a lot of those FLR races. Yeah, I thought he was. I don't know. I'll have to go back and check. I mean, I do plan on doing an FLR episode eventually. And Flame definitely raced a lot there. So I think that's probably why he's here with Decoy. Like, that kind of makes sense. And then Commando. Commando still races today. So you guys are probably pretty familiar with Commando at this point. Let's get into the race.
Eagle River, really tight track. Hope you guys are hyped up. This is going to be a great race. Historic HRL race from Halo Reach, and we're green. Crazy start. Everybody's... Whoa! That was Rebel almost spun out. I was going to say, everybody's too wide. Although it starts to single out a little bit coming into that hairpin right there. Through the Talladega corner, under the logs. It looks like it's actually starting to single out, which is good. Eagle River can get pretty bad
single
real
out. This
quick
is where the
if
battles
it does
start.
not single out quickly. One driver stuck right there. Another driver went into a corner that we call the banger, and he went down there. And I'll point out that corner when we get to it. Through the chicane, pretty clean for most people around that final sweeper. And that's the banger right there, that corner. And we call that the banger because of Detail actually, as Cat goes down in the hairpin. A couple previous races ago, Detail had the cheesiest. I think he was in the lead, and he just banged the inside of that corner and completely held up like the entire field and held on to the lead. And now that corner is the banger, and it's also the most treacherous corner I would say in the track. Definitely look out for there to be the most accidents in that area. Although I think the place where the most time can be gained is in the chicane. Pretty solid moto so far at Eagle River.
All right, this was pretty good racing and pretty good commentary. It's hard for me to kind of step in here. That was actually all pretty good. But so for my first little step in here, I do want to mention, so Eagle River, I kind of like briefly mentioned it in the beginning of the race there, that this is a historic HRL track. So I would say that Eagle River, in a way, is even more so historic than like Chili Bowl. But those are probably like the two big HRL tracks that are still raced today, that are always like just kind of have to be raced. Mirabilis is kind of the Eagle River of Halo 5, I guess. But yeah, we'll bring back Eagle River soon with the go-kart series. I wouldn't be opposed to bringing it back for like regular seasons though. But yeah, this was a track that when we actually started working on the go-kart series, this was the first track that we made. I think I helped my brother a little bit. I think it was mostly him. I'm pretty sure that I was kind of like a real Dylan Forge at the time. Like he did most of the actual forging, and I'm pretty sure I just like wrote Papa Murphy's or something like that in the sky. So that was my contribution. But yeah, so this track on Halo 5 and on Halo Reach is mostly Matt, my brother Matt's Delo Ross version 2 with the Leet Speak. That's his gamer tag. You see him in some of these HRL history episodes, I'm sure. Might remember him from the World of Outlaw one. So this was sort of his idea, like the go-kart series as a whole. He was very instrumental in coming up with the go-kart series and the World of Outlaw series to classic HRL series. And like I said, it all started with this track. And this version is a little bit different than the Reach version. Oh, that sucks for detail there. I wish I had the Reach version to show you guys. Maybe I'll have to try to get the backwards compat on Reach, because I don't know if I have any footage of that track. I'll have to ask Matt, see if there's anything on his YouTube or anything like that to show there, because I'm really not sure. But yeah, we'll see about that. If I can find it though, when I eventually do an Eagle River track history, I do really want to show you guys as many versions as possible. I think I do have some video of the Halo 4 version. There's a 2.0 version in Halo 5, which I think that one's like okay, it's different, but it doesn't really feel like Eagle River. So when we race it again, we'll go back to this version. And then the Reach OG version was super short. So like, you think this version of Eagle River is small? This is actually big. Like, this is twice the size of the Reach version. So when we go around to the finish here, I can try to best explain what the Reach version was like and how much smaller it was. So like this last corner here, very similar to the Reach version. Then it goes to the finish, and then after that finish, instead of like where it goes into the banger and all that, it was just a chicane and then a left-hander, a straight into that last corner. The same last corner that we see. That's the best way I can explain it. It was like a 10-second lap time maybe. Super short track. And you can still see that like all of that is still here pretty much. On this version, it's just expanded. So that's what Matt did with this Halo 5 version with the expanded forge and all that. He was like, you know what? Let's do Eagle River. Let's do it a little bit bigger, a little bit better. And then that ended up leading to this, which is still my favorite version. I really like the Reach version, but I do think this is my favorite and this is the most fun. But the commentary is pretty good. So let's get back to that.
In an FLR, he's had kind of a dry spell in Halo 5, so it was really nice to see Cookie just pop out those 2 moto wins and look really confident and really fast at a track again. But speaking of which, we have Blades coming up here, who's also getting moto wins this season, also looking really confident. In fact, I think Cookie and Blades at this moment in the season are both tied with 2 moto wins. And Slaunch Cookie goes down before the banger. That whole section though around it is fairly see all the action
recent
go down,
after
though.
Chili,
like all
where
the,
Cookie
all
got
the
2
crashes,
dubs.
They just happen. They always happen in either the corner before it, the actual corner of the banger, or the hairpin afterwards. Like, basically most of the crashes on this track tend to happen in that area, and so far that has reigned true. A little late that I'm recording this. Sorry about the yawnage.
I feel like that happens every
really
time.
trying hard to hold it in, but still going to be commentating this because I want to get these videos out to you guys. We're a little bit behind here in HRL, and we definitely need to catch up. This is my spring break week, and I need to use it to catch up because we have crap load of races coming up. In fact, in the next 3 weeks.
All right, so I'm getting conked here, so I can go back to the snippets because I'm definitely getting conked a little bit there. So yeah, the go-kart series, like I said, really started with Eagle River, and then on Halo Reach, we kind of just expanded from there. You know, mostly my brother, but I started working on some tracks too. We had some other people work on some tracks, and that first, I don't want to like spoil too much about it, because again, I do want to do a go-kart history video, and that first go-kart season is like a really, well, honestly, all of the go-kart seasons are just like really different, unique, and like the least HRL seasons. When I get into that history video, I can explain that statement a little bit more, but yeah, they were just different. Kind of like, I think like the season 2 and 3, maybe 4, I don't recall if there's 4 go-kart seasons, which were all in Halo 4. I think that those were posted on the ORL site, so it was like kind of partnered there, so that made things different. And then on top of that, like just for some reason, the driver pool that we had for the go-kart series was always like really different, like a lot of different types of racers, and people that were like fast on GP were still fast on go-kart, but like there was also people that weren't as fast on GP that were for some reason better on go-kart. I don't know. It was really weird. We'll have to see if that continues when we do bring back go-kart, hopefully very soon here in Halo 5. Yeah, let's get back to the commentary.
Rules. And also we have Slaunch here in the lead, and Luke pretty close behind him. Luke's actually not that far behind, so Slaunch is definitely going to have to hit his marks as the keys to the race set, and he's going
keys to the race.
Have to just take advantage of the lead that he has. I mean, he's also got to think, you know, he'll get held up by lappers.
Lots of lap
but every
traffic
time he
during
gets
this
past
race.
a lapper, that's still another lapper that Luke's going to have to pass as well. So, I mean, Slaunch can get held up, but as long as he doesn't get wrecked, he should be fine, because Lucas is going to have to work through the same lap traffic that he is. So he's just going to have to hit his marks and avoid the crash. Stay solid, avoid the crash. Here we go to DJ, just going through a lot of the driver's perspectives in this race. Yeah, as I was saying, that Halo 4, I just want to finish this tangent, that Halo 4 time when I was racing all those races, man, that was ridiculous. Oh, we have a crash right there. Who is that? Alright, let's switch to Slaunch's view. And
This
go
is where
back
the
and
race
watch
gets
this,
cheesy.
We need to see what happened there. We saw from DJ's perspective there's a bit of a pileup. Oh, Slaunch getting stuck behind Flame and NSA. This is a really bad group of two. And look at how much Luke is gaining. He's right there. This is really bad for Slaunch. He needs to work his way by these drivers fast. He has to run in the chicane. Oh no, NSA gets locked up with Slaunch. Unbelievable. And that's it. Yeah, Luke and Blades thereby.
Might let
I think
this play out. The race really spices
place.
up.
So he's still in the podium, but there it is. There's Luke and Blades in 1-2. And holy crap, how has Blades gotten up there? He was pretty far behind, working his way through some of those other positions, Cookie and Detail, when Luke was up there trying to catch up to Slaunch. But now Blades is right there, up with Luke. He's honestly within striking distance, and Luke has to deal with that lap traffic that just wrecked Slaunch. And it's doing the same thing here, slowing him up. Oh, Blades sets him up into the wall and the rumble, and he takes the pass. That was exactly what the second key to the race was saying. You got to take that room that you're given, and Blades took advantage of it and made the pass clean. I don't know. I can't words today. Anyways, I haven't had human contact in like 2 days, so you start to lose your ability to speak. Moving on,
to me now.
Blades.
Yo, look at the pig! Hold on.
I haven't had human contact in like 2 days.
I have to add this in for the supreme history.
To speak.
In case you didn't notice that. There you go.
Moving on. Blades in the lead here at Eagle River. This is just insane. Blades, in fact, he actually has not won a road course race at all.
That was true at this point in the season.
Yet. This could be it. This could be it if he does it. But that's just an interesting little tidbit of information right there. Blades has a win on Supercross, has a win on Oval. He won at Chili Cove for the Oval, and for Supercross he won at Minneapolis. So Blades has wins on both of those categories. Now he has a chance to take a win on all three categories by winning here at Eagle River. Can he do it? I honestly don't know. Luke has had a solid season. He has the most moto wins out of any driver at this point in the season.
Oh, it's getting close.
I think he might actually be tied with Slaunch at this point.
There's not that much time left either.
Point is, Luke has a lot of wins, and he's been a consistent front runner this season. He's the points leader, and he's definitely going to try to gun down Blades here, since Luke is always in competitive points battles with his teammate Slaunch. So Luke's going to try to get any position he can get.
That's true. Points battle was pretty close for the lead at this point.
Eagle River would definitely be huge for him, especially with the fact that he is been a little
So Blades was kind of
lackluster
playing spoiler here.
in heats this year. He has not been performing as well in heats as he usually does. And Slaunch, Blades, Detail, Hunter, some of these other drivers, they have just been ripping heats this year. We've seen some really consistent heat winners. And Luke, I mean, he still has a lot of heat wins, but compared to some of the other competition that's battling with him in points, not as many. He really needs to get this, but we're to the final lap. White flag. Time is running out, and Blades has a huge gap for Eagle River. I mean, look at that. That's like a 4 goose length gap, maybe even 5 now on the Talladega corner. That is a huge gap. And, yep, that lapper Commando gets out of the way and gets right back into Luke's way. So that's really unfortunate. Definitely going to lock it up. There it is. Blades takes the win at Eagle River. Luke's second, and rounding out the podium, there he is. Slaunch does, in fact, round
See what the
out
rest of the
podium.
results are.
Congrats to Blades. He becomes the first driver to win on all 3 different categories of track in.
So there you go. Well, the results scrolling on screen here too. That was the first moto. We'll get into the second one here in just a moment. So yeah, actually a pretty good race. Like that was one of my I think that was one of the better races here of season 3. That first moto. The second moto is pretty solid too, I believe. So we'll check that one out here in a moment. But yeah, that was a big race for Blades. Had to get one of his dubs in there for sure for this HRL history. I'll definitely have more to say on the track, but let's get into Moto 2. Be going through the starting order in the background. There we go. So Eagle River, you know, not only is it a historic track for Halo Reach and like for go-kart in general, but also kind of big in a way for Halo 5 main series as well. I believe that Eagle River for season 1 was actually the first track that we raced of season 1. So literally the first HRL Halo 5 race was on Eagle River, which is insane. And we raced it a lot in the first few seasons. We raced it in season 1. We raced it in the short-lived season 2. We raced it obviously here season 3, and then we did that 2.0 season 4. And Eagle River has not been seen since, unfortunately, until hopefully that go-kart series. So hopefully we make it a comeback here. But yeah, in the beginning of Halo 5, this was a really it's a historic track now, and it was a really important track at the time, considering that it just completely kicked everything off. And of course, here in Moto 2 with the invert, you're going to see this Moto 2 on Eagle River is going to be absolutely nuts. I cannot wait for another Moto 2 on Eagle River here when we do get to do the go-kart series, because I'm sure it's going to be just as insane. But yeah, Moto 2 on Eagle River is just an absolute recipe for disaster, and you will see that here. Just super conkage. I think DJ got wrecked really hard right there. Just kind of had to wait for everybody to go by. That just super sucks. Look at this 3 wide as well. Like this, it's just insane. It's just absolutely, it's just insanity. But that's just what you gotta expect out of a Moto 2 on this track. Like what else can you expect? It's just gonna get super cheesy.
I think Cat's like just outside of the top 5 and 6. We have Hunter unit up there still.
Whoa, why am I way quieter in this one?
Drivers all over the place right now, but Blades in a huge lead, and Luke with that amazing move is now in second. So Blades and Luke both slicing.
Got to 1-2. Blades and I got to 1-2 really fast.
Nice set of moves.
Oh, got to bring up the track analysis in the middle of the race here.
Nice set of moves. And here's your.
That's actually a good shot in the background.
The hairpin. In case you guys missed this track analysis, you can take a quick look at it and get some of that information that you wanted. If you guys missed it, also the banger is indicated on there. Just to clarify that is the corner name. Oh, Slaunch trying to make an inside move right there, ended up banging the banger. Speaking of which, and here we go to the hairpin afterwards. All kinds of collisions. I think that was Cat and Hunter.
God!
And
oh my God! What is happening,
who it was, but
dude?
Lots of flips and crashes through there.
This Moto 2 is nuts in a cheesy way. But the crazy part of this Moto 2 is how quickly Blades and I were able to get to 1-2. Like that's actually nuts that happened. Because you just wouldn't expect that to happen, honestly. On a Moto 2 on this track, you would expect it to be like super congested for a while. But look at that gap that we get. Blades and I were able to get out front right away, and that's clearly making a big difference. 2 drivers, I think that was Opix and someone else. I'm not sure who the other driver was, but 2 drivers just getting plowed in that corner right there. God, absolutely. I love this Moto 2. Moto 1 was great. Because Moto 1 was just genuinely like a pretty good race, but Moto 2 of this season 3 Eagle River is great because it's just cheesy. It's just absolute caution to the wind, bull cheese the whole way through, and I love it. More drivers going down in that corner. Yeah, it's just, yeah, this Moto 2 just perfectly sums up how how cheesy and how chaotic and how messy these Moto 2s in the two Moto format could get. And that's actually a good thing to bring up here for this episode, of course, because we've been running like the one big race format for a while here in the main series. That's another big thing to bring up is, of course, like in Season 3, we were still running the two Moto format. And here you can see like some of the pros and cons of it throughout these both of these motos, honestly. Like that first moto ends up being like pretty consistent, you know, ran pretty well. But the second moto, of course, is like you can kind of on this track you can kind of debate like the competitiveness of the second moto here, because it's honestly kind of just like whoever survives the cheese is pretty much what this second moto came down to. But I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like it was fun. I think most people had fun for this event, and even for the second moto, even with all the cheese. Like it was just like just such a different type of race, you know? Like the racing that you get here in the second moto on this track is just not the type of racing that you get. Oh, it gets the lead. That's me right there. And this is Blades in the lead. So this actually gets really close right here for the lead battle. So I think it stays pretty close throughout the second moto, so we keep it exciting. But yeah, so I think that was a big thing with this Eagle River race is, of course, just like the nature of a true go-kart track with all the walls and stuff like that, the beating and banging. It was just so different and kind of like a breath of fresh air when we raced this in Season 3. And I think that the go-kart series in general will feel like a breath of fresh air when we get to it here soon, hopefully. Because it's like the GP racing, but just with more intense contact and action. Like, you know, you could compare it to GP, but it really is different in many ways, and I think you see that here throughout both these races here on Eagle River, like how much different it can be, especially because Eagle River is a smaller go-kart. Like this one is designed to be really cheesy and have all that contact, beating and banging, all that stuff. But that can apply to a lot of the bigger go-karts as well.
Going through the banger pretty clean.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm so quiet in this one. I don't know why.
Only halfway through this video.
I may have to step it up
and
here
I'm
for a
already
second.
like running out of breath. This is just insane. My vocal cords definitely get a huge workout from doing these announcing videos. But anyway.
Yeah, I conked the audio in this Moto 2 one. I don't know why. The Moto 1 audio was fine, so something cheesy must have happened. But let's see. So like more stuff for Eagle River. We did end up the season after this changing we went Eagle River 2.0, where we kind of just like, that's where Eagle River jumped the shark. We'll definitely, like I said, when we race the go-kart season here soon, we will go back to this version of Eagle River. I still think it's the best one. But that 2.0 version was really just a testing grounds, honestly. Like we were testing a bunch of stuff. I think we tested speed boosters and stuff like that. So of course, when we get to that Eagle River history, we will see that Eagle River 2.0 track, of course. That'll just have to be brought up, even though it was cheesy. But yeah, it was kind of a testing grounds. We had like speed boosters. We also had something that was basically like whoops on a go-kart track, so that was kind of different too. And yeah, so my whole like stance on the Eagle River 2.0 is that like it had a lot of cool ideas. I guess it just didn't really come together as well. Like this original Eagle River just comes together really nicely. It just flows super good, and it's just, you can just tell it's like a solid, tight layout. The 2.0 version just wasn't as solid overall. Like it has a lot of really cool corners and a lot of really cool sections, but they don't string together as well, I guess you could say. It don't flow together as well. And that's kind of how I feel about the 2.0 version of Eagle River, is that it's got cool stuff here and there, and we could definitely take some of those corners and take some of those ideas, you know, put them into new go-kart tracks. But in terms of like that one as a whole, it's probably conked.
Fast as you wanted to, and was able to lose so much.
It's too much of a meme. I'm sorry, I can't. I have to go through this one on my own here. The commentary of the video is just too quiet. I still don't understand. I still don't understand why it's like that. Ooh, classic Vulcan holding up the pack here. You know, some things don't change. No, I'm just kidding. I had to cheese something here. So I guess that because we're getting pretty close to the end here. I think if there's one other thing I want to say, like the competitiveness here throughout the field for these motos, that is one benefit, because we're talking about like pros and cons of 2Moto. The nice thing about this is you just see like so many competitive battles all throughout the field. There's some battles. This is actually Rebel getting lapped here. And it was crazy for him. It was crazy for him, you know, getting put a lap down. But at the same time, you're gonna have good drivers getting put a lap down on an Eagle River race. Like the track is only so long, and like that's just gonna happen. Even though the race was fairly short, like that's just how it is. That's just how it is on this track, you know. But yeah, like especially in the second moto, all throughout the pack, again another benefit of two moto, all throughout the pack you just see battles. It could be a battle going on for like fourth or fifth, battle going on for like seventh and eighth, something like that. But there's just with the single races, you know, it does at a certain point, for the most part, get stretched out. There's a certain point in the race where things get stretched out, and then it's just kind of, you know, it's just kind of done from there. But with the two moto format, that didn't really happen as often. I think part of that as well was the length of the races. Of course, it was two motos, but the motos were fairly short. You know, we'd race like what 10 minutes plus 2 laps or something like that. Whereas now we race the races lap wise, time wise, they end up being around 25 minutes long, but we do lap count. So that's a big difference there. That's actually a huge difference. So the times of the two moto format versus like the one race, they end up, if you add them up, they end up being around the same amount of time racing. But of course, like having this whole extra start and two mid races, two end of races, two beginning of the races, you know what I mean? Like it just feels like so much more with the two moto format. So I guess you could say that's kind of a benefit of it. You get those two races that could feel completely different, and it just feels like you're getting more time on the track, even though it's really around the same amount of time. I guess it just feel more of like a perception thing. Kind of feels like you're getting more battles. Well, I would say more battles is not a feel thing. Like that just happens if you do two moto format. There's probably going to be more battling in general. But yeah, the more time thing is just, that's more so just perception. That's just kind of how it feels. Okay, so what else can I go through? Well, actually, is this close to the end here? Oh, white flag. Okay, so we should go over this. So, Blades, it does end up getting super close again at the end, and that's like Blades and I had a really good battle, even though it wasn't like passing each other and stuff. These two motos, Blades and I really just fought for it, and this was genuinely a really good battle. But Blades ends up taking it in the end and takes a sweep. This may have even been like the first sweep of season 3, so that was huge. And it was big for Blades to do that. I think that was Blades' first sweep ever, so that was definitely big out of him. See the results there, and we'll see the overall results. Look at the gap that we had, too. Because we were able to get out in front so early, Blades and I smoked the rest of the field. Like, Slotch was fast, and he was close behind in the first moto. But because of just getting through the pack early on there, that gave us such an advantage. Like, the times were so much... Like, if you look at the times... Let's go back to the times real quick. If you look at them, just super close between me and Blades, but then it's just so stretched everywhere else. Or so stretched between me and Slotch. Blades, Slotch, and I is super stretched between us, but like the rest of them were fairly close together. So just like that start, whatever Blades and I did on the start of this Moto 2 was just super important. And here we have the overall results points wise as we go through there. I think the most surprising thing here is probably Cookie holding down the 4th place, but as you can see, it was pretty close, like 4th through 7th, really close. And yeah, that was just a good race, man. Honestly, that was just a good race. So there we go. Done with the good old Eagle River action. Hope you guys enjoyed that episode of HRL history. This was definitely a fun race, and this was one of the more memorable ones of season 3. But closing out, well, I guess I could bring up the docs quick if you want to take a look at the schedule doc. So just like to give more context, what I was talking about earlier. Like I said, that battle was mostly between me and Slonch at that point. So like Blades was just kind of playing spoiler there. And Blades, this was after he made the move to start up the Devil's Rejects when Rebel came back in as like a opposing team, and that was huge because that made it so that was more of a, like, Slonch and I's team was pretty strong. So Blades doing that made it more of like a 2-team battle, and as you can see, like once that move happens, the second half of season 3 win-wise ends up being really competitive. You look at the first half, I mean, it's, you know, there's definitely some odd winners here and there, but it's mostly me and Slonch through that first half. But once that move happens, Rebel and Blades start getting some more wins in there. Even in the overalls, like Hunter, Ump, and Rebel, even Detail at the end there at the grand finals, start peeking into the overalls. Most of the overalls in the beginning were me and Slonch. Detail even gets some moto wins here at the end of the season. Ump gets some moto wins. So that whole move there, and I think that Eagle River race was big in just switching up the momentum and the competitiveness of season 3. It really had a shift after that, and was a lot more competitive and a lot more fun, honestly. I'll show the points here as well real quick. So you can take a look at that. This is just like the overall stats of season 3 in case you guys are curious about that. But this was big for Blades because like he gets 2 overalls in the season. He gets 6 moto wins. 2 of those moto wins and 1 of those overalls was just at 1 track. And that's, if you think about it, like that's huge. He ends up taking 3rd in the season. So like that was a really big race for him. Okay, so before I was talking about how at the end I'd sort of bring up some of that stuff I wanted to go over. So let's take a look at some of that. So first of all, did I mention? I was thinking about before recording this, like mentioning a little. I don't know. I have a really cool Forge project that I'm working on. I'll show you guys that at some point on stream by the end of the week. So I just wanted to quick mention that there. I don't want to give too much of it away, but I have a really cool Forge project that I think you guys are gonna like. But aside from that, as you can see here, this is like the schedule dump doc. It's supposed to be the season 8 oval season schedule, but then it also has season 9, and then it had like this is the doc that also had like all the future plans, schedules, all that stuff, all those dates, and I'm probably gonna remove most of those dates because like they don't really matter now. But one thing that I am doing with this is I've been working on like some side series, making sure most of these series do eventually come to life, and we can do like some different stuff here in Halo 5. All the way until Infinite comes out. Just keep mixing things up, keep making things fresh. And the ideas that I have here that I'm sort of like just working on now. We have the GK season, which is almost ready. It's gonna be happening very soon, hopefully. Oh, these dates are like tentative, by the way. So if this works, this might be what we do, but this is just like tentative dates right now. We'll see what happens. We're gonna have to kind of like figure things out like the first week or so, and then once we get things figured out, hopefully we'll settle into a groove. So yeah, we have the GK season. Working on that schedule, working on an Oval Season 2 schedule, working on getting that together. Arena Cross, working on that one as well. And then the other one that I'm working on is Rally Cross. So those are the like side series that I'm working on, trying to get those schedules set up to eventually do these side series because they've been planned for a while, and I think that they would be a lot of fun. I also think that for the GK season here, the reason this is the first one is because this is something that we've wanted to do for a while. And we're just really close to getting it ready. We've been doing a lot of extra work here in the Forge recently. As you can see, the schedule is really starting to come together. It is so close to being complete, close enough to start for sure. And hopefully we'll be getting to that soon. So this is more of a preview of things. I'll have some more info on the GK series and stuff like that hopefully throughout the week here. We're probably going to be putting HRL history. It's going to be mostly those normal race episodes until we get this going, because this is the first time that we've ran a side series along with the main scheduled series since the MCC season, and that was a while ago. So this is definitely a big thing here, and hopefully we can get it all up and running and flowing well, and hopefully it'll end up being pretty fun. We can get as many people in it as possible. That is the goal here. But yeah, just wanted to show a little preview of that. Don't want to go into it too much because, like I said, I'll have some other stuff throughout the week on streams and maybe in videos as well, going through some of this stuff for the go-kart season and all that stuff. But this little preview here was just also showing some of the future plans as well, like that Oval, AX, RX, just showing that those are in the works, and TRS as well. One of the tests we did, TRS, was looking like it needed to be made, so hopefully TRS can also be incorporated here soon as well. So that's something that's also, I don't have like a schedule set up for it or anything like that, but that is also something that is like fresh in my mind, and we'll definitely be working on that. I guess the one thing I want to close with for this episode of HRL History is, again, like, until we get this series running, it's going to be mostly these race videos, and then hopefully we can get to those track histories and the interviews and all that cool stuff. So that's how HRL History is going to be for a little bit. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you have any suggestions, like anything that you'd like to see, anything different for any of these side series in general or for the go-kart series in particular, let me know. And I'll see you later.